Hi everyone, George here from SBH Queensland. Today I'm here with John Flower, our Vice President of SBH Queensland. Hi John, how are you today?
Hi, George. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks mate.
That's
John,
good.
can you tell us a little bit yourself?
Sure. I'm 56 years old. I have spina bifida and also hydrocephalus. I've got a shunt, but that shunt's never been replaced, so it's been part of me for 56 years. I live in Brisbane. I went to a regular state school, and then I transferred across to an independent school after that and finished my senior schooling there. I've either worked or studied for the whole of the times since finishing grade 12, and thankfully I've only ever had 2 short periods of unemployment in that time, so that's nearly 40 years.
That's
Um,
great.
I'm also married to Gillian, who has also got spina bifida and hydrocephalus.
Great. So John, can you tell me how you got started with SBH and how you joined the board and then became Vice President, and how long you been on the board for?
Sure. I've been on the board for over 30 years now. So what happened is in the 1980s, I was studying to be a primary school teacher, and at the time I felt I wanted to give something back to the association that had supported me while I was growing up. That's when I joined the board, and since then I've climbed through the ranks, and as you said, I'm now Vice President. And I have held the position of President as well, but at the moment I'm Vice President.
Great. Now, you also have living with spina bifida and hydrocephalus. What's been the hardest part about that, and what's been good about it?
Well, thankfully, I think I've been pretty lucky insofar as living with spina bifida and hydrocephalus. My family have been very supportive in what I've wanted to do with my life. So I think that's an important thing, is to have a supportive family and network around you.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things that have been a little bit negative relate to my work. In the past, I've been a bit reluctant to tell my employer and my colleagues too much about having spina bifida and hydrocephalus. And at times that hasn't worked out so well. So over the last number of years, I've started telling them a bit more about spina bifida and hydrocephalus and how it impacts on my life. And another thing is, when I was a full-time student doing teaching, at the time I was given the opportunity to have some extra time to complete exams. And in my first year, I didn't want to necessarily do that because I didn't want to be seen as being different. So in one of my first exams I didn't tell the lecturer that I was able to have extra time. And I actually failed that exam. But that lecturer actually found out that I was eligible for that extra time, so she contacted me and she gave me an opportunity to have another go at the exam, and thankfully I ended up passing, which is good. So from
Great.
then on, I've realised that there are some reasonable adjustments that are in place that are a good thing. So I've actually taken those opportunities when I felt that they're necessary.
Great. So, just wanted to ask you again, what has been the hardest part about living with spina bifida and hydrocephalus?
Well, when I was young, I found it hard to physically keep up with my peers because I do walk, and I've walked pretty much ever since I was small. I've walked with a walking stick. I started off using crutches when I was at primary school,
Yep.
and then I progressed on to just using a walking stick. So when I was young, I found it a bit hard to keep up with my peers physically, and also realising that I was not physically able to do things that other people could do, like play some sports, for example. The school I went to, they were quite sport oriented, cricket, football, all that sort of thing. And obviously I wasn't able to participate in those sports. But when I was young, I had a really good PE teacher, and he adapted some rules of things like cricket, that sort of thing, so that I could participate on an equal level. So that was really good, having a teacher who understood and was able to introduce some modifications that would allow me to take part with the other kids. So that was really good. Another thing is, I really wasn't bullied when I was at school. I didn't think, even though some kids were a little bit mean, I didn't think it was bullying. And to be honest, I don't think there was such a thing as bullying back in those days. but I was able to cope with it, with that, meanness from the other kids. And it wasn't bad, but it did happen a little bit. So, as I say, I wouldn't class it as bullying as such. And also, as I mentioned before, I needed to work out if and when I needed to tell people about my disability and how it affects me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're the major things.
Okay, thanks for that. So, if you could go back and start all over again and understand SBH and hydrocephalus, what advice would you give yourself?
Okay, what would I do? I would tell myself to do the best I could in whatever I was doing, and don't give up. There's always an alternative way of doing things. Like, as I said, with that PE teacher of mine, there were alternative rules that he brought in to allow me to participate with the other kids. And another thing is that spina bifida and hydrocephalus aren't excuses. Some people in my life have thought that having a disability is an excuse for not doing something or not doing it properly. But to me, it's not an excuse. It's a reason. There are some legitimate reasons why things don't work out, or I'm not able to do certain things. So rather than it being an excuse, and to me, an excuse is, "Oh, sorry, sir, the dog ate my homework." That's not the case when you have a disability. It's not like you're just making up something that's not true. So that's the way I look at that.
Yeah. So what advice would you give yourself?
Just do my best, have a go. There's always alternatives. If things don't work out, try something. If it doesn't work, try it a different way. So I think they're the most important things that I've learned over the years.
That's great. Thanks for that, John. And just one more question, John. As Vice President, what would you like to tell everyone out in the real world that we live in about the association and what supports we were able to give everybody?
Right. Well, insofar as people with spina bifida and hydrocephalus, I'd say to them that we're here to support you, and that if you haven't had too much to do with us over the years, give us a call, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to re-engage, and there might be some services out there that we currently offer that are right for you, or there's a potential for the future that we may be able to expand our services and offer something that might be of interest or might be of benefit to the person. And insofar as the wider community, the reason we are there is to support people with spina bifida and hydrocephalus through from the very early years, from the beginning of life, right through until older years. And we're there as a support network, a support organisation. We offer things like physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech pathology, social work at the moment, but there may be an opportunity in the future for us to expand those services. And if you're in the wider community and you'd like to support the organisation, we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to donate, that's great. If there's some other support you can provide to us, and we'd love to hear from you.
Well, thanks, John. I much appreciate your time this afternoon, and thanks for joining me. Okay, right. There you go, folks. Thanks for watching. As John said, if you'd like to know more, contact us on through the website or on our mobile phone or on the landline, which is 0738444600. And have a great day, and we'll see you next time.